This is the 5th day of Kefir, and today we're going to make a Kefir cheese ball. This is my husband's favorite recipe out of all of the things we've made on the 12 days of Kefir. It's the one that he eats the most of, and it's the one that you can take anywhere, to parties. People love this recipe, and it's really, really easy, and it's really fun, and it's just a little bit addictive. My dad always bought us cheese balls at Christmas, and he could never decide which one to get, so he'd buy 2 or 3. So I've carried on the tradition with my family. I always have a cheese ball at Christmas time and Thanksgiving. So you need to make this a part of your traditions, because this cheese ball is really good for you. So the first thing you're going to need is some Kefir cheese. And you can figure out how to make Kefir cheese off of my site, and in my book I have all kinds of instructions and even videos on my membership site on how to make Kefir cheese. Really, really easy. You're just draining Kefir in a strainer. But you're going to use a cup of it for this cheese ball, and we're going to put it in a food processor. You can also do this by hand, or you can do it in a mixer. Either way, it works pretty easily. And then we're also going to use a block of cream cheese for this. This kind of gives it some stability, because a Kefir cheese ball has to hold together, and cream cheese is just a little bit more stable than Kefir cheese by itself. So now we're going to add a cup of regular sharp cheddar cheese. You can use different flavors. I like the sharp cheddar, but you don't have to. You can use Colby, you can use just regular cheddar. It doesn't matter, but I like the extra sharp because it kind of gives it an extra bite. Then we're going to use 2 cloves of garlic, and I like to chop these up just a little bit. This has all the flavor in the recipe, are these cloves of garlic. When we made this for my family, my husband took it to the lake, and everybody loved the garlic and said, put more garlic in. So you might want to put more garlic in this, because it really does make this cheese ball flavor. I think it makes it taste like a ranch dip. It has a really, really, really wonderful flavor like ranch dressing. So you may want to add 2 cloves. That's what I add, but you could add more if you'd like. And you don't have to chop them up or mince them really finely, because the food processor will do that for you. But I just do a little bit just to help it get it mixed in really well. Then we're also going to add 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce in my little gingerbread teaspoons. And you know what Worcestershire sauce is made with? It's made with anchovies. And that's what gives it the unique flavor. People don't know that, but it actually is made with anchovies. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. And this is Celtic sea salt, the good salt, or Himalayan salt, either one. And I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. And then we're going to add some minced onions. And they are just to give it a little bit of crunch, and we're going to use 1 tablespoon of minced onions. You can add more if you like the flavor. It does really add to the flavor, and it does really make it good. And then what you're going to do is, here we go, pulse it. So we pulse this a little bit, and then we're going to add one more thing, and that's paprika. So we're going to add this in. The smoky paprika gives a little more flavor, but the smoky paprika really tastes good with this. We're going to pulse it again. And that was a ½ teaspoon of paprika. Now you can see how it's kind of all combined really well. That's what you want. You want it to be combined uniformly. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have to form it into a ball. And in order to get it to form into a ball, you kind of got to maneuver it a little bit. So you're going to need some plastic wrap, and you're going to have to let this sit in the fridge overnight or for 12 hours till it gets firm. But I take a piece of plastic wrap and I put it in a bowl that's like this size here. Something that looks the shape you want your cheese ball to be. And then you're just going to add your cheese ball in here. You can change this a little bit too. You could add parsley if you wanted, because I have done that. It's just that my parsley is gone out of my garden, so I didn't run and get some from the store, but you can add fresh herbs to this. It does really add to the flavor. I like Italian parsley, and that's really good. And it makes it kind of have little green specks in it, which makes it kind of festive too. But if you put it in the bowl, it does take it a little while for it to get into a nice round shape. So, and then what we're going to do is just kind of fold over the edges like this, and then kind of with your hand, see how the bottom of the bowl made it round? You just place it in the bowl like that, and then put it in the refrigerator for 12 hours. So now we're going to top our Kefir cheese ball that's been in the fridge for 12 hours. And you got to put some nuts on it, because that's what most cheese balls have on it. So this has been in the fridge for 12 hours, and we're going to take pecans. I like chopped pecans, and I'm just going to place them in a bowl so that I can roll my cheese ball in it. It's like a cup to 3/4 of a cup, just whatever you have in your pantry. But here is our cheese ball, and we're just going to pop it in this bowl and kind of roll it around. You can toss some of the nuts around it like this. They just kind of stick to it. It does make it taste a lot better when you put nuts. And another thing you can do if you want is to toast the nuts. They're really good. And I always use soaked and sprouted nuts. They're really much better for you when you soak and sprout them, and that's just basically sitting nuts in some water overnight with a little bit of salt, and then the next day you can dry them in your oven, or you can dehydrate them if you want to keep them raw. But when you soak a nut, you unlock and release the enzyme inhibitors and all the things that bind up in the gut and allow you to not digest it and get nutrients with your food. So this, a few more on here, is our Kefir cheese ball. And one of my favorite things to serve with my Kefir cheese ball are cultured carrots or any kind of cultured veggies. You can just place them on the dish. These are really great. I like to do whole ones, and people will have them for kind of a snack before dinner, or just around the holidays if you need to bring an appetizer. You can use all kinds of cultured vegetables. I've got asparagus, I've got cherry tomatoes, and all of them are cultured, or you can serve it with crackers, whatever you want. But this is my Kefir cheese ball.